Arirang Special.
Earth has a circumference of 40,000 kilometers and the only habitable planet. Earth's surface is the result of plate tectonics over millions of years. Today, it is undergoing another big change. Mostly covered in green foliage, now it is slowly turning brown due to massive dust and sandstorms. Desertification is a calamity of mankind in the 21st century. Desertification is a very serious problem. It is currently in progress in approximately 5.2 billion hectares of land, 40% of the total land mass.
ملي كنت صغير كانت هاد البلاصة هنا كاملة كانت الماء كان عندنا ديما هنا في الواد عندك ربما 3 المرات كيجينا الواد في الشهر.
Every year, an area half the size of the United Kingdom is turned into desert, resulting in damages estimated at $42 billion. What is causing desertification? 87% of desertification can be attributed to anthropogenic activities, while natural causes only account for 13%. This indicates that human activity is the main cause of desertification.
In terms of the total global land area, think of it maybe like this. For every hectare of productive land that we have, a quarter of the hectare is degraded. Actually, desertification occurs on all continents, to the exception maybe of Antarctica, and it affects the livelihoods of millions of people.
Mongolia is experiencing acute climate change in Northeast Asia. Mongolia, the land of Genghis Khan and the Great Steppe, is currently facing the specter of desertification. Mongolia is an important transportation hub that connects Northeast Asia and Europe, and the country has been showing heady economic growth since the mid-2000s. Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, has been doing especially well, with the city achieving double-digit economic growth of 12.3% in 2015.
Энэ газар бол Монгол улсын нийслэл Улаанбаатар хот юм. Та бүхний харж байгаачлан өндөр барилга өдрөөс өдөрт нэмэгдэж байна. Гэвч цөлжилт хөгжилтэй хамт явагдаж байгаа учраас биднарт аюул өдрөөс өдөрт нэмэгдэж байна.
We left Ulaanbaatar and headed to Dalanjajid. On our way there, we came across a yellow dust storm. A herd of camels trudging through the sandstorm looked as if they were fighting for their lives. Mongolia, 7 times larger than Korea, is vulnerable to desertification because it is landlocked and dry.
Өндөрлөгийн төлөв байдал. Өөрөөр хэлбэл Монголоор нийтдээ бол 1580 метрийн далайн түвшнээс дээш өргөгдсөн байдгийг. Энэ балс нэг салхины нөлөө, усны нөлөөтэй бас их холбогдлоор ийм цөлжлтүүд боловсж байгаа. Тийм учраас сүүлийн жилүүдэд нийт нутаг дэвсгэрийн 4.8% гэж ярих юм уу да. Юу гэхээр зэрэг 125 мянган километр газрын хөрс нэлийн илэгдэлд орсон гэсэн ийм тооцоо бол гарсан байна.
In the past decade, over 887 rivers as well as 1,166 lakes and ponds have dried up, and 3/4 of plant species have gone extinct. In 1990, desert areas accounted for 46% of Mongolia's land 20 years ago. Today, about 78% of the country's land is experiencing rapid desertification that is progressing at an alarming rate. It takes more than 10 hours to arrive at Dalanjajit from Ulaanbaatar by car. Dalanjajit is near the Gobi Desert and faces challenging circumstances due to desertification, more so than any other area. A Gur belonging to a family of nomads welcomed us when we arrived in Dalanjajit.
Hey, mini цагаан хаана нүхэр миний сайхан үхэр хаа нүт. Жаахан мааждаг эрхлэх гээд байгаа юм нөхөр өө тий сайхан мааждаг. За. Миний маалга яаж миний маалга яасан нүгэр нь юу болчих энд юу болсон.
Raising cattle is the only source of income for this family, but the land they are living on is particularly barren. They sell cow milk and set aside some of it for their own consumption. This place was once full of Gur tents where whole families lived together, but all the young people have left and only the elderly and children remain today. It is becoming much harder to live a nomadic life, moving constantly in search of grass. This is because the grass that they feed their cattle is gradually disappearing. The old man smiles faintly, resigned to the state of things. He reveals the trouble he is facing. What are their lives like? We entered the Gur. She looked like any other grandmother, happy to watch her cute granddaughter play. But the deep wrinkles on her face hinted at the hardships of living in the middle of a desert.
Тэгчээд өхөр малаа саадаг. Тэгээ өхөр малаа саачаад ирээд хүүхэд ачаагийн цай унтлаад унталчаад байж байтал тэгээд өхрийн бэлчээрт нь гаргачаад дараа нь болохоор өхрийнхээ аргалыг дэлгэдэг. Аргалаан дэлгчээд ирээд аймаг руу явж сүү сайлан борлуулж ирчээд тэгчээд хүүхдүүдтэйгээ тоглож өнжиж байтал тэгээд өдрөө бараг өнгөрчтэй маа тэгэл ороо сайлах сайлаас саах уууд балаал тэгэл өдрийг өнгөрөөчтэй даа би.
Her son and daughter-in-law are both away in Ulaanbaatar to earn money. She keeps busy looking after her granddaughters and cooking meals. Does the grandmother hope that her granddaughters will someday lead a nomadic life like herself in a land that is no longer fertile?
За хүүхдүүдээ одоо ачаагаа малчин болгож болох юм аа. Гэхдээ болол одоо байгалийн энэ одоо хуурайшилт салхи шороо энэ байгалийн хүчин зүйлээс болоод ерөнхийдөө бол хүүхдүүд маань өсөж тойрон том болно, сургууль соёлд орно. Тэгээд ерөнхийдөө хот бараацнал дээр ухаад суурин газраа бараацж гэхдээ суурин маллага бол одоо ерөнхийдөө суурин маллага гэх дэмжиж байгаа шүү дээ. Тийм учраас суурин маллагатай одоо фермер байгуулалт тэрэн дээр ухаа.
For over 10,000 years, Mongolians have raised livestock on their ancestral lands, but the impact of climate change has changed their land and worsened further due to grazing, which is also one of the causes of desertification.
이거хээр манай хуучин систем хошууны системтэй байсан. Өөрөөр сум баг гэж байгаагүй. Тэгэхээр бид нар засагчрын хуваарыг бол хэд жижиглсэн. Нэг сум зүгээр ойролцоогоор 4 багтаа гэж бодъё. 4 баг гэдэг чинь 4 багийн аль нэг баг нь нэг сум руу нутгаар орохгүй. Тийм учраас нэг газартаа өвөлжиж, хаварж, зусч, намарж байгаа болохоор хөрсөш нь элэгдэлд оруулж байна. Хөрс элэгдэлд орсноос болж ээлс нүүж байна. Энээс болж хөрс нөлөөлж байна гэдэг утгаараа яриад байгаа юм би. Тэрнээс биш хуучин системээрээ өөрөөр хэлбэл хошууны системд газар том болно гэсэн шүү дээ. Гав, хангай, гов одоо юу гэдэг төвийн бүс энэ гэдэг юм уу. Ийм том системээр авч үзэхэд энэ бол нэг нөлөө багтаа.
The livestock eat the grass as soon as it grows, and this has caused a sharp decline in grassland. Approximately 10 million and 7.5 million animals starved to death in 2002 and 2010, respectively. The death of livestock signifies a hopeless reality to nomads. Myanmar, a land of mystique with 2,500 years of history, rich in Buddhist culture. Over 90% of the people in Myanmar believe in Buddhism, along with Angkor Wat in Cambodia and Borobudur in Indonesia. Bagan is a sacred Buddhist site and revered as one of the 3 major Buddhist historic sites in the world. Over 2,700 pagodas and temples dot the 40-kilometer-wide green plains of Bagan. Young and adult monks lining up in the morning to ask for alms is a common sight here. Anada Temple, built in the 12th century, is the best preserved historic site in Bagan. The giant gilded wooden statue of Buddha represents the colorful aspect of Buddhist art in Myanmar. Buddhism is more than just a religion to the people of Myanmar who start their day with prayers. King Anaurata was the founder of the pagan empire, Myanmar's first kingdom. The pagan empire founded by King Anaurata laid the foundation for the current Buddhism in Myanmar and is considered to be the essence of Buddhist culture. Myanmar possesses excellent woodcraft production techniques that underlies the building of wooden palace and statues of Buddha. The woodcraft techniques of the people of Bagan have a long history, just as long as the history of Buddhism in Myanmar. As such, the number of woodcraft shops in Bagan is on the rise, as it is attracting many tourists from the world. Over 1,000 pagodas were created from brilliant woodcraft techniques. The pride of Myanmar's Buddhism was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and stands tall even in the face of nature. So what is the relation between desertification in Myanmar and the use of wood? We visited a traditional market to peer into the people's daily lives and find answers. The market was not different from any other market, filled with people haggling over prices while buying and selling. However, the wood market located at the side seemed unique. Wood is the main material for building living spaces for the people of Myanmar, which is a tropical forest area. We visited a residential area to take a look at this family's life. We saw trees cut down and damaged around the residential neighborhood. Depending on the type of tree, trees in Myanmar may be damaged or used to make wood crafts and pagodas. Lacking sufficient electricity in Bagan, the wood is used instead. That is why the houses are full of firewood. In the evening, the whole area is filled with smoke as people cook dinner using firewood. It was a common sight to see a husband chopping wood next to his wife who was cooking with firewood. The convenience of using firewood was more important to them than saving the trees. The mountains that used to be green in the past look ruined, showing barren patches here and there. We found a suspicious group of people in the devastated mountain. They are illegal loggers. Myanmar's government declared a war against illegal logging. It was a result of a rapid decrease in the percentage of forest area. Why did they have to continue with their illegal logging activities? As evidenced by the firewood stacked to the side, it seemed like a tradition to them. Myanmar, that once used to be a country rich in tropical forests, has lost 14% of its forests in the past 35 years. Along with the decrease in the forest resources, lack of rainfall and climate changes, the water level of Irrawaddy River, where Myanmar people make their homes, is also on the decrease. Nobody can forecast when the longest river in Myanmar, the vein of life, will dry up. Morocco is located in northwestern Africa. Morocco, the red jewel of Africa, is an exotic country where Islamic and European cultures coexist. It is also a luxurious retreat among Europeans because of its beautiful natural scenery. It is a must-visit travel destination for travelers of the world. However, as soon as you leave Rabat, the capital, you come face to face with the reality in Morocco. We could see more ghost towns that used to be villages as we traveled to Zagora, a region near the Sahara. Where have all the people gone? We began to see the problem in Morocco when we arrived at Zagora. This may look like a construction site, but it used to be where a stream flowed. The water has long been contaminated and abandoned.
نطلب من السادات اللي مكلفين بالماء الصالح للشرب. خاصنا الماء نقي هنا في البلاد، راه الناس كيعانيو بزاف وعندنا مشكل بزاف ديال الماء. كنتمناو من الناس اللي المسؤولين يحاولوا يدبروا يشوفوا لنا شي بيار ديال الماء، راه عندنا مشكل ديال الماء بزاف هنا.
Morocco's drinking water problem is the result of desertification. We met a family living in Zagora to find out more about this issue. This mother and son used to live near the Sahara Desert. Why did they have to leave their home and the Sahara Desert?
كنا في الصحراء شي 17 عام باش جينا وسكننا، ولينا خدامين غير مع السياحه. الدراري ما كان خدمه غير السياحه، هو خدامين مع السياحه وجينا هنا واستقرينا صافي. لا يمكن خدمه زينه الله، وما لقاو لا ما لقاو مع السياحه خدمه كاع ما ملاقينا، غير السياحه ما لقى السياحه يقعد هكا، ما كان والو غير السياحه لا خدمه لا والو. اللي معطاه الله شي في القرايه راه لا قعد مع السياحه.
Mr. Abedin told us he would show the best gift of Zagora. It is a miracle to see water flowing from a faucet in the Sahara. Even though he had to leave home, he is satisfied with his life because of the water.
الحياة في الصحراء زينة ومزيانة وعادية، يا غير مع الجفاف وقلة الماء واحد شوية صعبة، والناس كتعاني من قلة الماء وخصها تقلب بعيد على الماء والجفاف. انه بنادم الا كان عطشان وبغى يمشي يقلب على الماء وما لقاه يقد يموت بالعطش صافي، قد كاع يمشي وراسو ما يعرف اش يدير وحيد حوايجو، ومادام الناس مات هكا خصنا نمشي بعيد باش يجيب الماء. انه اكثريه الناس كتموت بالعطش كاع في الصحراء. هادشي علاش الناس ملي جات هنا، الناس واحد هنا لقات بعدا شويه الامل، كاين شويه الماء وكاين الخدمه ولات مزيان وشويه لاباس.
We visited his hometown, Mohammed, near the Sahara. He rarely visits this town, but he first went to a well that stood like an oasis in a barren land. It is the only well left in Mohammed.
هذا هو الماء اللي كنت كنشرب وانا صغير، اللي كنت صغير في الصحراء كنشربوا من هذا الماء هذا، كنجبدوه بالدرو، ملي كنجبدوه ما عادش كيكون فيه داك الحشرات ولا شي حاجه، كنستخدموا هذا الشاش ديالنا باش الفلتر كالفلتر باش نشربوا من هذا الحاسي من هذا الماء منين كنشربوا ملي كنا صغار وفي الصحراء كنشربوا من هذا الحاسي الماء.
They say there were several wells here a few years ago. However, the short rainfall dried up the water, and now the ground is the only proof of the well. Some of them are even closed firmly with their lids.
ملي كنت صغير كانت هاد البلاصة هنا كاملة كانت الماء كان عندنا ديما هنا في الواد. عندك ربما 3 المرات كيجينا الواد في الشهر. عندك ملي كنت صغير هاد العروق هاد الرملة هنا ما كانت. من بعد فاش كاين الجفاف الرملة كتجي تزحف على هاد البلاصة هنا. هاد الرملة ما كانتش، كان غير الواد ماشي ودريك ولات الرملة.
How long will this only remaining well last?
Morocco is very close to Sahara Desert, so a lot of cyclical desert storms coming, sandstorms coming from Sahara Desert is affecting Morocco. As you might know, Sahara Desert is expanding.
Desertification in Morocco has expanded noticeably. It is also the result of a rapid decrease in rainfall since the unusual weather events in 2010. UNEP has forecasted that more areas in Morocco will suffer from water shortage in the future. We met another family by the well. They traveled a long way to find the well where water can be drawn only once in every 3 months. They were so desperate for water that they even had their child helping out. The grandmother and father carefully filled their containers with water as if giving thanks for this water of life. The well provided not only the water for drinking but also for other purposes. However, they never wasted water. Unlike the grandmother and the father who look so serious, the child just looks happy to see water. We followed them to their home as they returned with the containers full of water. The valuable water is poured into the grandmother's water container right away. She was very careful not to spill any of the precious water. We couldn't find any neighbors around. This elderly man grew up and lived in Mohammed for over 70 years. Did he ever want to leave his hometown as he watched people leave over the years?
الناس راه عندها كاينه بزاف ديال الدميره مع الواد ومع هاد المنطقات كلهم عامرين الى 96 جاها الجفاف وكتلم بالشور حتى مشات ما بقى شي ما بقى عنده ما كاع ما يسرح وشي ما بقى عنده كاع والو وشو كلها هو وكل شي منهم عيان وراهم داخلين البلاد، داخلين المحاميد وداخلين تاقنيت وداخلين زاقورة وداخلين كلها وين داخل وكملت وما بقى فيها والو. دروك ما بقى والو. واحد 20 عائلة مع هذا الباطن ديال سميتو ديال الكدية صافي. داك الشيء فاش باقي شي حاجة شي تاني ما بقاش.
Despite 21 families living here, They barely see each other because they are scattered across a large area. After enduring long hours of fetching water from a well that only produces water once every 3 months, they still manage to smile. However, they are always prepared to leave because they don't know when the well will dry up.
كنا في الرشيدية وكيكون الماء عندنا بعيد كنمشيو نباتوا في الماء عاد اللي نجيبوا الماء كنمشيو بحال 4 سوايع ولا 5 نبينا مع الماء والجفاف كنجيبوا الماء من داك الشيء كنبقاو عند الخيمة يومين وكنمشيو زاد نباتوا عند الماء نجيبوا الماء.
The desert area is so vast that it is difficult to implement measures to slow down desertification. In particular, African nations are relatively poor, and this makes it more likely that they will take the full brunt of the consequences caused by desertification. Will we ever see this 3-generation family happy here if the devastation and desertification continues in Morocco? China is the largest country in Asia. When talking about desertification, we cannot leave out China, which is 44 times the size of Korea. Every spring, yellow dust rises from Inner Mongolia and spreads throughout China and further to Korea and Japan, creating a serious problem.
很多沙漠化的地方以前都是水草丰美的草原，或者是比较好的农田，可能因为这个过度的开垦或其他原因，最终导致了沙漠化。
Industrialization and water-intensive crop farms in China are considered to be the main causes of desertification. The yellow dust and fine dust particles that used to be concentrated in March and April are now occurring all year round. And the fine dust particles have become increasingly smaller as desertification progresses.
是那次特大那个风沙的时候，满天全都是黄色的沙尘的颜色，无论我们的头发上还是皮肤上、衣服上，全部都是黄沙，特别的脏，有吸到鼻子里，也很脏。
主要是老年人和孩子出行的时候啊，感觉到有些不太适应。
A recent report stated that the number of yellow dust occurrences has increased 3-fold compared to preceding years in the 1990s. We went to Kubuqi Desert in Inner Mongolia, known to be the source of yellow dust. Kubuqi Desert looks barren with no sign of life. The desert that seemed endless was a land devoid of life. The yellow dust and ultrafine dust formed here also contain pollutants, including heavy metals, so it brings even more serious health problems.
作为中国人吧，这个绿化肯定是一个迫在眉睫的事情。我觉得我们应该首先就是加强宣传嘛，这个让更多的人能够了解到我们这个生态环境的恶化。 另一方面就是说，能够有更多的人投身到我们公益事业当中，来参与我们的植树绿化活动。
Even in the 1980s, about 80% of the Chinese population were farmers. Currently, 70% of the population live in cities. Because of urbanization, farmlands were abandoned and desertification began in this land. Moreover, they reclaimed the grasslands near the desert on a massive scale to cultivate crops such as corn, potatoes, and watermelons, which has destroyed natural vegetation. Nearby lakes have also dried up because of the watering facilities for large-scale rice cultivation.
我上床了，在这地方就 这到就70来年了，我7岁上从山西，这地方上的，这就水也大可大了。最近呀，这几天这几年，人家赶年不下雨，这就旱，一直旱着那些那几十年下雨了，最近这10来年就不下雨。整年尤其整年这半年就没下雨，没下雨就水才把抽了水10年了，在这年里头，这就河抽干了。
This river, which is the lifeline of the grassland where goat herds come to drink, may dry up someday. However, it is too early to give up. Including Korea, that has achieved great success in reforestation within a relatively short period of 50 years. Many countries are extending help to areas where desertification is in progress. The Korea Forest Service and Mongolia have been working together on the Korea-Mongolia Greenbelt Plantation project that will end in 2016 since 2007. This day, the tree planting event was held as a part of the project.
이곳에서 저희가 매년 50헥타씩 조림을 해가지고 지금은 450여 헥타의 그 조림지를 심어서 잘 관리를 하고 있고, 여기에 심겨진 나무들은 주로 이런 건조한 기후에서 잘 자랄 수 있는 그런 수종들로 해서 우리가 심고 관리가 되고 있습니다.
They're expanding the afforestation area each year to reach their goal of 3,000 hectares.
나무를 오늘 심고 10년 뒤에 다 자라면 올게요.
왜 심고 있는데?
황사를 오지 말라고. 나무를 심으면 황사를 막아줍니다.
We hope that this tree, planted by a child, will take root, grow along with the child's dream, and become a windbreak that blocks dust and sandstorms. This is the fourth plantation site in Bagan, Myanmar. The afforestation project in the central dry region of Myanmar began in 1998. This is where Korea's afforestation technology was transferred.
이 지역은 사람의 손으로 나무를 심고 가꾸지 않으면 사막화를 방지할 수가 없습니다. 그래서 이번에 240헥타의 면적에 15만 그루의 나무를 심어서 사막화 방지를 위해서 노력하고 있습니다.
Myanmar, where the pace of forest destruction is increasing due to indiscriminate logging, is especially interested in the plantation project. The project began in 1998 in Myanmar and has been successfully progressing, with a third project underway since 2010. And now a fourth project that was launched in 2014 is currently in progress. The project began in 1998 in Myanmar and has been successfully progressing with a third project underway since 2010. Through afforestation, people are preventing desertification and restoring the barren lands of Ouarzazate.
Protecting the city from
The eco-project is meaningful in that they plant trees in barren lands and use the treated sewage water to water the trees. This project particularly stands out because the facilities are solar-powered, which can also reduce costs.
This project is the green belt. Stops the desert encroaching and sandstorms, and then uses renewable energy like solar energy to pump water to irrigate the plants.
The purification process is carried out in 3 stages, and there are 4 water treatment facilities around Ouarzazate. The afforestation project is an exemplary case as it utilizes sewage water in Ouarzazate, and this is very useful in restoring barren lands or preventing desertification in surrounding arid lands. The Great Green Wall of China is the world's largest afforestation project in process. Korea has participated in China's Great Green Wall project since the early 2000s. The Great Green Wall project that began in 1978 when Deng Xiaoping was in office involved creating an artificial windbreak to keep desertification from spreading.
여기는 2006년부터 녹색 장성 사업으로 포플러 나무를 식재한 곳이에요. 보시면은 이쪽에 포플러가 한 9년생 된 포플러인데요. 저희가 생장량 측정을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 수고와 그 훈고 직경, 근원 직경, 그 잎엽의 크기 등을 측정하고 있습니다.
As well as planting trees in the Great Green Wall area, Korea is also supporting the efforts by collaborating with the government, businesses, and locals. However, to further prevent desertification, we need to also change people's perceptions in addition to planting trees. This is the third plantation area where the Korea-Mongolia Greenbelt project was carried out in 2009. Instead of simply planting trees, 2 training centers are helping the locals learn forestry to allow them to manage the trees by their own volition. They also built a follow-up management system through which they could continue to learn from Korean experts.
지금 이 포플러 나무는 키가 큰 나무로서 이제 방풍림 역할을 굉장히 잘하고 있어요. 이걸 그래서 우리가 방풍림 조성할 때 이렇게 빨리 키가 크는 나무를 쓰는 이유가 그거예요. 이걸 2줄 정도로 조성해 놓으면은 이 나무 키에 16배 정도까지 보호를 해줍니다. 이렇게 두껍게 조성한 것보다 효과가 훨씬 좋다. 그래서 아마 이 몽골에 양묘를 하는데 아마 선도적인 역할을 할 거라 생각합니다. 우리가 이 산막화되는 몽골을 푸르게 만들려고 하는 최초의 시도입니다. 근데 그 중에 이 나무를 심어서 방풍림을 만들고 또 그 나무를 심어서 거기서 몽골 현지 주민들이 소득을 얻을 수 있으면은 지금 오버그레이징 때문에 사막화가 심각하게 돼 가고 있거든요. 그거를 막을 수 있다는 거죠.
Follow-up measures will be set in place to ensure the viability of the long-term desertification prevention project. Loon Som is an excellent example demonstrating how effectively forest management technology can be used to stop and reverse desertification. The size of the forest land will be increased every year with additional plans to bring back the indigenous tree species that has been under siege.
이곳은 몽골의 톱 아이막 룬솜 지역이 되겠습니다. 보시다시피 이 뒤쪽으로는 톨강이 흐르고 있는데 이 지역도 몽골의 대부분 지역과 마찬가지로 사막화가 진행되고 있습니다. 따라서 한국 정부에서는 2007년부터 2016년까지 10년 동안 이 지역에 500헥타르의 조림을 하기 위해서 계획을 수립하고 현재 조림을 추진하고 있습니다.
Another goal of the program is to expand cash crops that will lead to job growth in the local communities.
Би модыг шүүлийн газар болохоор модыг үрээр болон өчрөөр тарьж ургуулдаг. Энэ ажлаараа дамжуулан би Монгол орныхоо зөвлөлтийг сааруулахад тодорхой хэмжээний хувь нэмэр оруулж байгаадаа их сэтгэл хангалуун байж ажилладаг.
The Korea-Mongolia Greenbelt Afforestation Program has been a successful collaboration between the public and private sector that has gained broad participation among Mongolian citizens in the drive to prevent desertification. There are already positive signs emerging within Mongolian communities. However, changes have already begun within Mongolia. Under the guidance of the Mongolian government, the locals were voluntarily planting trees all over the country, which is a good sign.
За энэ ажил маань Монгол улсын байгаль орчин ногоон хөгжлийн яамны сайдын тушаалаар Монгол улс даяар 1 сая мод тарж ургуулах хөдөлгөөн өрнүүлж байгаатай холбогдуулаад Өмнөгов аймаг маань 70 мянган мод тарж ургуулах юм даалгавартай байж байгаа. За одоо тэр ажлын хүрээнд бол энэ мод тарих ажил маань үргэлжилж байна.
Many Mongolians say that trees are their only hope, and that they are taking a step in the right direction by voluntarily planting trees and tending to them. This is why education is important, and training people will help change their awareness of combating desertification. This is the college in Morocco. This is a class on combating desertification. It is not a regular course, but as people's interest in desertification rises, more students are participating in the class.
كيتسقى من الماء العذب اللي هما الماء اللي كيستخلصوا السكان من البيوت ديالهم. دونك هاد العمليه ديال التشجير ديال الالاف ديال الاشجار كتسقى غراتويت، يعني ما فابور. وهاد الاشجار بطبيعه الحال من هنا لقدام غادي يساعدوا باش ان الرمال ما باقيش انها تجي لورزازات وتكون ورزازات مدينه نظيفه.
The satisfaction of students who took the class has led to action. Outside the class, they also carried out with their plantation projects.
لي زيسباس فير او المناطق الخضراء اللي غيولجوا ليها العائلات ولا الشباب بصفه عامه كيعانيوا من هذه النقطه هذه، وحنا كساكنه ديال مدينه ورزازات كنعانيو منها، وكمهتمين بالشأن المحلي كنعانيو من هذه النقطه هذه بالضبط ديال المساحات الخضراء ولي زيسباس فير. فهذا كحل فهو كله المشروع ككل كله يمكن نقولوا لانه ايجابي، وورزازات بحاجه ماسه ليه والمغرب كله، وهذا هو الموضوع اللي في هذه النقطه.
The training program at the National Institute of Forest Science and the Korea Forest Service is also a promising project.
The A, B layers, sand, silt, clay contents.
The program offers training opportunities to Myanmar's forestry officials and transfers Korea's advanced forestry technologies.
So I feel that I'm the responsible person. I have the greatest responsibility to share my knowledge, to share my experience to the society in Myanmar.
We should develop the techniques.
The 3-month training course offered to Myanmar is one of the many training programs provided to numerous developing countries in Southeast Asia, South America, Africa, and other regions.
실제로 그들이 스스로 저희가 조성한 복구한 그런 나무를 가꾸고 보호하고 할 수 있는 능력을 키워주는 거죠. 그런 쪽에서 이 프로그램에 의의가 있다고 볼 수 있습니다.
Classes on forestry theory, training at local areas such as the Warm-Tempered Subtropical Forest Research Center in Jeju Island and Pohang Sabang Memorial Park, as well as field trips to areas damaged by wildfire and a sapling nursery were special experiences to the participants.
First time read in books, 64% of the landscape area of Korea is forest. Oh, this is amazing. And in Myanmar, we have degraded forest degraded. So we want to restore our country, and the lights almost green. That's my feeling. It's very good. Forest.
We met Myanmar's forestry officials again at the Myanmar plantation site. The trainees are part of the dry zone greening department, and they were hard at work creating and managing plantation sites in dry zones, while also educating the locals. Though they were novices in the beginning, today they were actively playing important roles as experts in the plantation sites of Myanmar.
Yuclegaro to China said, Tama Coco, the head of Sachi, drought resistant species, Aram original Digata beside.
It won't be long until a new forest will emerge on their land with trees that they planted. In just 50 years, South Korea has risen as a nation with coveted forest lands. Ever since desertification became a threat to the global community, the Korean government and Korea Forest Service has leveraged its expertise in forestry technology to counter desertification around the world. Such efforts will continue in the future. According to the UN, 160 countries out of 200 in the world are under threat from desertification. Desertification swallows lands, dries up water sources, and kills livestock. In the end, it takes away our homes. There are many solutions to desertification. But what must be implemented foremost is planting trees. It may sound simple, but it is not. It is our duty to grow trees and create new forests. The solution relies on people. Combating desertification requires a joint effort from everyone on this planet.